Welcome to Hoardganize with professional organizer Rachel Seavey. Every Sunday at 6 p.m., Rachel shares her expertise and compassionate approach to help you deal with overwhelming clutter. Rachel?
Hey, collectors! Welcome to the Hoardganize Podcast. I am your host, professional organizer Rachel Seavey, and this episode is all about excuses. And when it comes to excuses, I am sure I have heard them all. Before we had a cancellation fee, people used to cancel all the time. It's funny how a little bit of money will make you change your excuses, don't you think? I honestly think I've heard every excuse in the book. And, we all have busy lives. We all get ill. We have people that we love that we lose. We go through life transitions. If you feel like you're the only one that this happens to, then that is a poor excuse in itself. Now, last week we discussed how we'd probably rather be on Facebook than doing our chores or getting organized because we're lacking motivation. We have every excuse in the book, don't we? And whether it's a good excuse or not, it's still an excuse. Nothing, I repeat, nothing, collectors, is holding you back from getting organized except yourself. Now, you might think your excuses are 100% legit because you believe in them. And so if you're believing your own excuses, then you're really just allowing yourself to be disorganized. You're giving yourself permission to lack organization or to do anything in your life to change. And in turn, you're creating the misery in which you live in now. In order for yourself to move forward and get organized, you're going to have to let go of those excuses and those limiting beliefs. I jotted down my 3 all-time favorite excuses, and believe me, I've heard them all. It was really hard to pick. Along with my 3 favorite excuses, I'll be discussing some client stories, and hopefully it'll put some of those excuses into perspective, to say the least. My number 1 favorite excuse is, I'm too old. Collectors love to tell themselves that they are too old. An old dog doesn't learn new tricks. I'm 50 and I've been like this for years. I've tried everything and I've never been able to. Why would I change now at my age? Who cares? I will die soon. Jane cares. She's 90 and she wants to change. We meet for half-day sessions and she goes through a lifetime of stuff. She does not want to leave her kids with all of her junk to go through. Jane can barely see. She uses a walker. She's incontinent. She suffers from depression. She's taking medication for it. She's had both of her hips replaced. And she tells me that she wakes up and goes to sleep in pain. But yet Jane still keeps every appointment. And she even texts me in between our sessions to keep me posted on her progress. In my opinion, Jane has every excuse that she should be able to use, but she doesn't. She doesn't let her limiting thoughts or beliefs hold her back from getting organized. And she's got reasons and excuses that could absolutely allow her to not get organized. And she doesn't tell herself she is too old. In fact, I've worked with many people in their late 80s and 90s, and they're actually relieved and happy to sort through their lifetime of stuff. It's their history. The main theme is usually that they don't want to leave a mess behind for whoever's left to clean it up. My second favorite excuse high up there on the list is I am too sick, I'm too disabled. Now, I understand sickness and disability will absolutely slow you down. I'm incredibly compassionate. I understand it will slow you down, but you must not let it stop you. A few years ago, I worked with a man, a Vietnam vet, lovely, lovely gentleman, who was low income and basically army crawling through his own feces because his legs were inoperable, and it was not a great place to visit or a great place for him to live. And he had pretty much fallen through the cracks as far as getting some aid. So we were able to help him with that, and he was able to help himself reach out to the right organizations. And even though his legs were inoperable and he had all the reasons in the world to not want to be motivated to get organized, he didn't stop or complain once or give any excuses. Every single day we showed up with a crew. These are 8-hour days. And every day he worked hard alongside of us. Whether we had to prop him up or he was flat on his stomach, he insisted on making all of the decisions. And he didn't stop until we went through every single last bit of everything in his house. And I'll never forget Lucy. Lucy was a meth head. When we met, when I got called in, she was 2 days off of drugs and on her way to rehab. And she was writhing in pain from not getting a fix. She was irritable, distracted, scared. And on top of that, she was being evicted and she didn't know where her cats were going to live. This was absolutely Lucy's rock bottom. A family member had actually called me to help her declutter and organize what would either be stored in a storage unit or what she would be able to take with her to treatment. And even though Lucy was physically ill and mentally beaten down, she went through every single item and made decisions. She didn't quit and give me excuses, and Lord knows she had them, and I would have understood. But there was a force within her. There was a drive, there was a passion, there was a motivation within her that wanted to do it. She wanted to make decisions about her items instead of letting us, strangers, decide. So in between puking and taking naps, she sorted, and we got her ready to go to rehab. And I love hearing, and I'll share with you, that Lucy is now clean, completely off of drugs. She lives in another new place with her boyfriend, and she is going to school to be a teacher. So she did not let her excuses of being at her rock bottom hold her back. She only let that fuel her fire. My last one that I'll cover, my last favorite excuse, is I don't have enough time. Oh, this is such a great one. None of us have enough time, right, to do everything we want to do in a day? Do you overschedule yourself so much that you might honestly not have time to organize? Well, collectors, this is self-sabotage. Yes, this is another way you're holding yourself back. You are not making the time. Everything else is an excuse. I'm a mom. I run a business. I have a life. My house is clean and organized because I don't bow down to excuses. I'm always tired. My back hurts. I'd much rather be outside gardening or watching TV than doing laundry. But you know what? It has to get done. So in between getting sunshine, I run laundry loads. I make the time. You've got to sacrifice some of your time being on Facebook with actually getting things done. And going back to working with people in their 80s and 90s, I mean, honestly, they don't have time. I mean, they could die very soon. But yet they decide to get up, meet with me with all my energy, and go through their boxes of clutter. They don't use time or age as an excuse. They step up. And that's what you've got to do, collectors. You've got to step up. Stop making excuses. People who are on their deathbed still make the time. So don't tell me you don't have time or you've tried it all or that you're too old. And that's another excuse. I guess so I have 4 now. That you've tried it all. I hear that all the time. Oh, I've tried everything. Keep telling yourself that and see how far you're going to go, collectors. You have not tried it all. Because if you did try it all, guess what? You'd be organized. There's something different about you now, today, than there was when you, quote unquote, tried it all. So try it all again with a new, improved, positive you that believes in yourself, that makes the time. Make all those old tries just an old experience and make them new again. If I've taught you anything, collectors, it's that traditional organizing methods don't work for the chronically disorganized. Traditional organizing methods do not work for the chronically disorganized. So don't tell me you've tried it all. Maybe you've tried a handful of things and those things did not work, but my dear, you have not tried it all. And you're not too old or too sick or busy to change either. Stop believing your excuses and holding yourselves back, collectors. Make it happen. Step up. Do your best to get organized. Collectors, if you are listening to this on YouTube, smash that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribed and leave a comment. Until next time, collectors, remember, happiness is a place between too little and too much.
This has been Hoardganize with Rachel Seavey. New episodes are available every Sunday at 6 p.m. and also on the Collector Care YouTube channel. Download Rachel's Affirmations for Collectors on iTunes or Amazon.com, or sign up for Rachel's blog at collectorcare.com and receive 7 tips for clutter-free living. Thanks for listening.